Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Monday night, it's 8 p.m. It can mean only one thing. The Online Darts Live Lounge returns for episode 236. I can't believe we've made it this far, but it's been another busy, packed week of Dart in action, and we're going to spend the next couple of hours talking you through it, as well as Lewis Jones joining us live on the show. Dan Jar, how are we?
What a weekend. What a weekend. What a weekend. Absolutely superb. My beautiful daughter turned 2 on Saturday, and I got to celebrate it with the fact that Ireland absolutely marmalised England in the rugby. Get in. Absolutely fantastic. Completely. The Grand Slam dream gone last week, another championship dream for England gone, and the England rugby public have to sit around for another year moaning without the fact that they're just shit. It's as simple as that.
But other than that,
I'm in a great mood. Let's go. Let's keep going.
He's had a good one, hasn't he? I
have.
I didn't watch the rugby. No, we went away for the weekend. We had a challenging week last week. Last week was challenging. So I decided I'd bundle everybody into the car. We went away for a weekend. It was gorgeous. Like, we had a really nice trip away. We took the kids to some cool places. Had a very nice meal in fact, like, so Brad, member of the OD crew, recommended me a steakhouse, and he did a cracking job with it. It was very, very good. So yeah, really impressive. Yeah, lovely weekend. Managed to catch up on the darts, which is handy. Especially if you're going to talk about it tonight. But that was good weekend of darts as well. Like, life was good, but darts was good as well. So yeah, very nice.
Oh, there was some unbelievable Dart in action. Jump into the chat room. Go on, mate.
Before we go into the chat room, very, very quickly, speaking of the chat room, I've definitely reeled in a few here. I definitely reeled in a few on the nibbles here after that comment. Love it. Love it. Love it. Let's go.
Fishing. Dell, how are we doing? Kate is in. Ian, how are we doing, mate? Kieran, Fraser, always a pleasure, mate. Shelty is in. Wayne says, evening all. How are we doing? Geordie, how are we doing? Chris, James, how do? Lou Dog's #1 fan. How are we doing? Daniel, Rob, is Marcus, Connor, Joel, Rand. Mark, how are we doing? What a story about Mitchell Laurie. Yeah, he played some unbelievable stuff at the weekend. I'm not going to give you the date yet, but you might just see Mitchell Laurie on the live lounge soon. Just teasing that one out there early.
Look at you. You know how to keep them guessing, don't you?
Wayne, how are we doing? Warren is in. James, how are we doing? Rob's in, says, holla, how we doing, mate? You all right? Just checking in from Perth. Nice, good. Yeah, we've got the ADA to talk about as well. Raymond Smith with a magical 9. It's been really good. It's been super busy. Should we start with the European Tour, as it's fresh in everyone's minds, and the first event in Poland?
It was a cool.
Yeah. Sorry, go on. You go.
Well,
I'm being generous.
I think it was a real good start all round. I think, in terms of what do we want from the only thing, and I suppose we'll get it out the way first, because there's lots of very, very good positive darts to talk about. I thought that the stage dressing, we talked lots about stage dressing, and I thought that left a bit to be desired. Colours didn't come across well, I don't think, on the footage. I think there's a lot of not very good colour light interactions and reflections and things like that. Everybody looks an odd colour. But I thought it was cracking. I thought the crowd looked really good. I thought some of the darting action we saw was superb. I thought we saw some nice runs from players perhaps that surprised us. I thought Michael Smith did very well. I didn't expect that coming in as a substitute. I think Cam Menzies was an interesting one. Obviously, there's lots been said in recent weeks about that guy, and that was interesting to see as well. But the boy wonder again, 108 average in the final. It was just, I thought he had everything, really. Everything you could want from a Euro Tour. Really good start.
Can I? I'll just go with it first off about Wonder Boy, right? The biggest thing here is that there were people on after Thursday night writing him off, saying that he was done, saying that the time at the top is done. You stupid people, stupid. As a member of this parish used to say. By the way, congratulations to him because he got engaged over the weekend.
Yeah, congratulations, Job. Pop the question.
Yes, absolutely. But like I said, it's just silly. Like as the great Philip Brzezinski, if you haven't watched, by the way, was on last week's show. You can go and listen to it on the podcast or watch it after we're done here. And he said at the time, 5 Euro Tour titles in 14 starts. I know that necessarily isn't like the greatest of. It's not, a stupid, but it is a stupid number. 5 European tours in 14 starts is ludicrous. And the fact as well, though, the 9 dart curse is still there, still live and well. He had hitting his first 9 on television, but losing the game.
It had everything. Ridiculous. It had absolutely everything. Yeah. I think, over the course of a few days, we've been missing a little bit, I think, and because we maybe haven't. Yeah, he's seen that.
Here he is. Got him.
We've been waiting a little while, and I think the Premier League has. I think the Premier League started a little bit flat this year. Not just Luke. Yeah. I think in general, I think the Premier League has got off to a little bit of a flat start, and I think there's quite they can almost all look at themselves and discuss why that has been. But he certainly didn't disappoint. I mean, that second round game against Mike De Decker was just something like 114. I'm just shy of 114. We have been waiting for it though. We have just been waiting, I think, for him to just shut people up and remind everyone, you are serious. And again, we sort of need to keep remembering that people that say, is he finishing? Has it gone? Has he lost it? They should be ridiculed. They should be called out and ridiculed for the morons that they are, because you are just only ever, days perhaps away from him just being able to turn up and do something. But, he wasn't the only player. He wasn't the only player that we saw really good performances for. And I think Ross Smith was probably a bit unfortunate. He played superbly against Daryl Gurney and then bumped into Luke Littler. Josh Rock, we saw a brilliant performance against William O'Connor and then had to bump into Luke Littler. So it was almost as well that the other players that were playing very, very well just ended up within that bracket. Chris Dobie had a brilliant few days, but was in that section of the bracket. And you always...
You've managed to get him. You managed to get him in. Well done. You've managed to get him in. Mentioning Dobie.
So, I mean, on the Saturday night, I messaged Luke. I went, Christ, who pissed you off tonight, lad? That was a little bit good. Well done. I got the message back. Everyone saying I'm done, I'm finished, with the pokey out tongue laughy face.
Yeah, that'll do it, won't it? But it's just, and the thing is, he isn't, whilst he isn't the only player in the world, we saw the Van Veen performance, by the way, against Wessel Nijman was amazing. 107.5, absolute. But the way that he played with it, it's not just the numbers. It was a superb performance from Jan Van Veen. And whilst Luke isn't the only player that can rock up and do 113, there's a number of them. He still remains the player who is doing it with more regularity than anybody else. It doesn't surprise you when it happens. And what you'll find is he's still the player that can do that. And then the next round do 103, and the round after that do 108. And it's just the level that he can then maintain is unlike anything anyone else can produce at the minute.
What have I been saying? What do I need to keep? I don't want to keep the record going. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to. Best darts player that's ever lived in terms of talent. Simple as. He just is. Right. Yeah. Now, before people come... Sorry, go on, mate.
I was going to say, evening greatest showman, and Anthony is in. How are we doing, my friend? From the great state of Texas via the greatest city in the world, which we are going to talk about because Uncle Barry has teased some comments. Hi, John Rawlin. I mean, sorry.
I can't believe you said that. On a serious note, though, quickly, just going back to the Euro Tour, I want to shout out a couple of people. Boris Kruchbar going to a Sunday on a Euro Tour. That's good stuff. And I think the biggest result of the weekend, Stephen Bunting making a quarter-final.
Bunting played some really good stuff.
Especially with him wanting to get, go forward in with the Premier League. To get to a quarter-final, he got beat by Luke Humphries, okay. But he still managed to make a quarter-final. There's signs there that he's getting there.
Not for me.
How are we doing, Big John?
88
an introduction.
88 average against Neil Zonneveld. I think he did all right. I'm not excited though.
Yeah,
it was all right.
It's more confidence, though, isn't it, mate?
No,
at least he's not getting bashed up on the Euro Tour as well as getting bashed up in the Prem. Like it could.
No, I'll take that.
That's all I'm thinking of. But again, Nathan Aspinall making a last 16. Cristo Reyes again continuing on where the bloody hell he's just started off on his return to the tour on an absolute charge. By the way, yes, it is Greatest Showman. It is an Ireland rugby top up the Irish. I was going to say something else then, but we're not going to.
Boring.
But
boring.
Yeah, can I just say though, Luke Humphries must be getting bored of seeing Jan Van Veen now. Another one where he just can't get over the line against him. But yeah.
Also, I was really pleased for Cameron Menzies because after the block of Pro Tours, I was concerned, but it looked better at the weekend, which is pleasing. 95, 99, then a 90. That's better from Cammy. And there were massive concerns around him after the last block of Pro Tours, but that's done in the world of good. So that's a massive sign for him. And like we say, Michael Smith, there were signs at the Pro Tour. There were some good performances. Then he qualified for both European Tours 3 and 4. Now he's gone on a run here. I think he just ran out of steam in the end, but that was good. Joe Cullen starting to look like the rock star that we all want to see because Joe Cullen playing well, darts is in a much better place when Joe Cullen's playing well. So I think for ET1, there was lots of good mini stories within the whole tournament.
Well, let me just, before you jump in, Dan, I just want to say this about Michael Smith. The simple fact is he's now jumped up to 31 in the world and he's put a 12 grand gap between himself and Peter Wright. And what have we got at the end of this weekend? This weekend, the cut-off comes for the UK Open. Michael Smith will not have to play until round 4. Peter Wright will have to play round 3 as things stand.
Very interesting that you pulled that up about Michael Smith because what I had in the chamber there, it was similar but different, was I had in front of me, and I know that it's only after one event, so fair enough, but I had the qualification table for the European Championships. And we've talked loads, or I have certainly talked loads about these players such as Peter Wright, Michael Smith, where they've dropped out of those top end of the rankings. And we've said they're going to struggle to be on TV events. Like, they are genuinely going to struggle, some of these lads, to be on TV and qualify for these events. And that will see them fall further and further down. Now, that big law, that 12 grand that Michael Smith has picked up so far is a very, very good start to seeing him qualify for the European Championships. And TV tournaments with big prize money could be difficult to come by for Michael Smith this year. So I just think banking that, sitting at third in that table, even just after one event, is a real positive in the hope of him actually being at events to pick up bigger and bigger sets of prize money to drag himself back up.
Well, you look at the fact that last year, 26 grand got you into the European Championships. That was with Rob Cross who got there. Now, of course, with the added prize money, we're realistically talking about 30, would we say? 30, 31, you probably just about get there. Yeah. Give or take a couple of hundred quid.
So somewhere around there.
So off the back of that, he's basically a third of the way there already. and he's got 2 more events to go and put himself up. He could be qualified and packing his bag for Dortmund by the end of next
also,
month.
as well, on that, look, the match play, he's still
Yes.
11. He's still 11 grand shy. However, for the World Grand Prix, he's only £750 behind Daryl Gurney. That's how much of an impact the last week has had on Michael Smith. Can Michael Smith make up 10 grand? Absolutely, he can.
Well, I was just going to say,
can he make up 750? No doubt.
But I was just going to say, what's tomorrow? Players Championship 5 and 6. I don't think he's withdrawn. He's not one of the 700. He's not one of the 700 withdrawals that we've already had. So, on that basis, if he wins tomorrow, again, but he's 15 grand, he's back in a match play race. It's 25 grand, 27 grand he's picked up in about 2 days. Not just the fact that he's qualified for the match play, the fact that he's just picked up 27 Gs. Some people don't earn that in a year. Excellent.
I think the difference between Smith and a few of those other players that we've seen, plummets down the rankings is there are and there continue to be shoots of resurgence, and it's just about consistency now, isn't it? It's just about him being able to replicate that form, because he can, without a shadow of doubt, like I say, if he keeps qualifying for Euro tours and he can be there in Dortmund, he can make the TV tournament. It's just for a long spell at the back end of last year, it didn't look like he would. It genuinely looked like it was going to fall away. But now, I mean, it's interesting that, and we'll pick this up, at other times when we're talking about this in a bit more detail. But I've just had a look after you said that. I've pulled the match play qualification table up to see Damon Heta in the final spot. How he wouldn't have, you imagine saying that 18 months ago.
2 years, well,
18 months, 2 years ago, that Damon Heta is going to be clinging on, on count back for a spot in the match play. You'd be like, what?
Well, 18 months ago, he was in the shot for a Premier League spot, wasn't he?
This is it.
You've got to think he was right in there, and he's just fallen off a cliff. And this is the big thing. Joe Cullen's obviously up there in the race for the match play. Great to see. I mean, Rob Cross is now dropping away a little bit, but there's that opportunity for him, obviously, to come up a little bit. There's others as well. I think just going off of players that I'm extraordinarily worried about. I've said it for a while. Chizzy, he looked awful on Friday night. Friday afternoon. Sorry. Let's have it right. The action's completely gone. Obviously, Heta, another loss. This time I kind of Scott. I mean, not saying that Scott's not a decent player. Of course he is. We've all raved about him on the channel, but Heta is in a bit of bother, I think. I'm just looking through the results from the weekend. Martin Schindler as well. I think that's another loss. I think has he picked up 5 legs or something?
His action doesn't look right at the moment either. He's got a technical problem. He looks like he's struggling at the moment, Martin Schindler. Again, I don't want to mention the dreaded D word, but there's a lot of actions that are breaking down at the moment, and I'm not sure whether that's just technique, pressure, or something. But there's a lot that is going wrong with people at the moment.
There's a lot of it about in there as well.
Massively.
A lot of it about. And I don't know. I genuinely don't know if that is I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's, one of these things where if we talk about everything loads more, it becomes a thing. And that it's like a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. But I think it's definitely on the rise. And there's more and more and more of it about. And also happening to a wider variety of players as well. Right across the game at all levels.
Yeah, 100%. We'll pick this back up in a minute, but it's almost perfect timing because if I do this. It is guest time. We are joined by the one and only Mr. Lewis Jones. Lou-Dog, how are we doing, my friend?
All right. How are you?
Good, mate. All good.
Lou-Dog live.
Hey.
I look a bit cash. I didn't know what we were going for. So
No, that's fine, mate. That's not a problem at all.
You've definitely not watched the show before. We've been in far smarter than this. This is the sort of time where we just get to chill out and talk shit about darts, pal. It's all good.
None of us are wearing pants either. Like it might look like.
Oh dear, good to have you along.
Let me just try and get this camera so you can actually see me. You can see up my face, can't you?
Yeah, that's all right. That's cool like that.
That's
good. Love to see it.
Yeah, Anthony is in. He's got woof woof doggy is in. First of all, mate, congratulations. I know we did a nice little piece at the Worlds, but nothing was concreted then. What was that moment like when you got the call?
Well, yeah, it wasn't so much a call as such. I think it was just keep my head down at the Worlds and sort of concentrate and perform there. And then it sort of then got to the sort of last couple of days towards the end of my what I was doing the afternoon session, and spoke to Jamie Banks and Matt Porter and they said, look, you'll be coming to Bahrain and Saudi, which was, going to the next bit there. And then as time went on as well, sort of finished that and then got to the sort of end of the Worlds. Then, there was a bit of a moment when John sort of came down from his last one. I was in bits, to be honest with you, because as much as John retiring has given me an opportunity, it's someone that I didn't want to not be working with because I love working with him so much. So that was a bit emotional there. And then I had a conversation with Matt and he said, look, we'll get you in for this World Series and the Premier Leagues and just go from there. So it was sort of a moment there, and then there was a big sort of outpouring of I think relief once I got out of Ali Pali, got in the car with someone, and then I was just like, whoosh. I mean, when I worked before in darts, at when you'd have your last shift at Ali Pali. I think that particular venue and that tournament, one, it's long, you're tired physically. And then when you finish, it's up there with some of the best feelings I've ever had, to be honest. Yeah, so it's good.
What was it like meeting Johnny on his way down? Because I know that John's helped you an awful lot.
Yeah, massively.
What was that realization like when? Hang on a minute, this is now done. John's now gone. What was that moment like?
Yeah, to be honest, it choked me up because it was like. He's sort of, someone said before, it's like he's made a Makalady roll there. And you can't replace that. I've said that before. You can't just go try and copy. It was like, it's not just that as well. It's obviously, and you got George. It was George's last one as well, where I've spent a lot of time with George. I was very close with George. Again, like me and George all travelled, do an exhibition in Australia together back in the past, and obviously I had a close relationship with George back when I was working at Modus. So it was an incredibly emotional evening. With it seems like the people, your work dads, the people you've looked up to for a long time are starting to retire now. And it is, things are changing like that in darts. I mean, there's lots of changes. Of course, it's a much younger demographic of dart player now. If you look at the Premier League lineup average age to what it used to be when I started 17 years ago. I mean, what was the average age? 45 or something back then, and now it's
ridiculous.
It's mad. Sorry, I've gone off a tangent there, but yeah, they're a massive change in terms of the switches and. It's been so quick that how it's changed a bit, which I think for some people not liking change is a thing. But I mean, it's all something we've got to get used to.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, this is the thing. Going off the chat room, Lou, that a load of people actually are giving us some great feedback. Like Fraser saying here, Lewis was superb live on Thursday, interacted well with the crowd, out with the atmosphere. He has stepped into big shoes really well. Mark has said here, had a good conversation with him in Glasgow, although it was a bit tiddly. Practice, top lad. And then Greg Showman as well here saying smashed it on Thursday in Glasgow. Great to see
Yeah.
you grow into your role. Now,
Yeah.
do you, off the back of the comments on X when you first started, I know you've touched on it with Phil before, does that give you the gratification a little bit to think, I am working my absolute you-know-what's off here?
Yeah, of course. And I appreciate all the positive
Yeah.
comments do mean a lot, and I do get, and there's a lot of them. Look, on X, you do get some positive things on X, but generally I find I don't really go on there, to be honest, anymore. It's just the algorithm of it just goes into. I find a lot of negativity on there. Some of the criticism I've said before, I agree, and some of it I learn from, because some of the people are right in what they're saying, but but then some people don't want to give you a chance and things anyway. I mean, I'm learning to do a role live on television, which you're going to make mistakes on. And I'm only one step away from becoming a meme for the rest of my life. And so it's just like,
realise that though.
People
don't realise how difficult it is.
No, but you can't. I've always got to say for the positivity I've had from my peers and from fans who are incredibly nice to me and stuff as well. That once you get that way outweighs someone just wanting to basically abuse you online. It's. But then look, people have been used to John for a long time, and there's people don't want John to go, and they'll see me as the person that's. But that's not the case. It's I was brought in for initially just being backup for John because they wanted to look after. The whole initial conversation was, it was having backup and looking after John. And John decided to retire when he did. That was all John's decision. And of course, like I said, I have benefit from John's retirement, but it was a lot earlier than I thought it was going to be, and probably everybody else did. But I've had to jump in and do that, and. It's a lot of pressure. I've never been under a media spotlight in my life. In terms of the role that I'm doing, it's not. I'm still relatively new at it, and for me, I think if I can improve as quickly as I have done, and and what I take on, I do listen to things that I think I've got a good shot at getting a lot better at it.
So I think we have said, and we've seen I think in a really short period of time, it's really noticeable. I think every time you've done an event, there's been sort of like it's been edged forward. Like you've improved, you've found ways to improve. Like you and I spoke quite a bit at Minehead in November. I got to see like the work you were doing, like to try and improve this bit or improve that bit. Like what's made you think like the biggest difference? And like how are you able to get better? Like what do you think has gone into that mix of like what's the process of you doing it and then you do it again and we all say he's got better again there? Like how has that come about? What's the portion? What have you done?
Initially, so the team that are behind the PDC, as you guys know, is the best in production press. When you go into that room of I've got yourselves, everybody in the press there. Then I've got the PDC guys. I've got Josh Phillips. I've got Dave Allen. I've got Gortz. I've got Billy the Kid. Do you know what I mean? You've got all these people. You've got Lewis Wood Thompson. All these guys there.
Bunch, aren't they? They're a good.
You'll go in and you'll sit with them guys, and you'll go through a couple of bits of them. Ultimately, I mainly sit with Josh and do things, or Dave. And then you'll go and speak to Jamie Banks, at head of broadcast, who is incredibly experienced in what he's done, and he's done brilliant. And how the production's all changing, and ultimately, it's he's someone that's really helped me. And it was sort of Jamie Banks that suggested with getting a vocal coach. I've got Beth Hendricks for that, and she's absolutely brilliant. I know she's working with Owen Binks now as well. She's not trying to get me to sing Mariah Carey. She's teaching me how your voice works. And she's an amazing singer. She's a brilliant singer.
Anytime soon with this new vocal ability.
Just getting myself at it even more.
This year on night one, I want you warming up the crowd doing All I Want for Christmas Mariah style.
I'll do anything. The price is right. Don't worry about
that. Right, money before morals. We know this. We know
that. Absolutely. So I think the vocal coaching massively out. And then when you listen to that back, and it's also a lot of it is confidence. The more confident you're getting, and you're knowing that you're doing well, you're knowing that you're improving. that makes you sound. It does make you sound a bit better because nerves plays a massive factor in how your voice sounds. Because when your people get nervous, their voices go up. Lots of different notes, and you go quite high pitch, and you just end up sounding like a winded cat. So yeah, there's been improvements there. I literally just listened back to, I think it's what you filmed, Phil, for Josh Rock's walking in Glasgow. And I was like, oh, that sounded good. That's when I listened back and thought that one sounded really, really good. So, and that was, when you've gone up in front of that many people. I mean, at Newcastle, I think as well was the first Premier League, which I was really happy with. I had my dad up there with me. I had my brother-in-law Mark and my nephew Callum come up with me. It's a big thing for me going there. My dad's a Geordie, and going up and having doing my first Premier League at Newcastle was massive. And it was just, I know what the Newcastle crowd, it was raucous. It was so light, and you've got to learn to not keep overcompensating with the noise by shouting too much. Of course, there's a bit of shouting in how I deliver it, but you've got to learn to deal with sort of maybe just trusting your voice a little bit, because you cannot hear it over them crowds. I mean, Glasgow the other night was, how many people were there? 10, 11,000?
10, 11,000, yeah.
Yeah.
Glaswegians. Do you know what I mean? They know it's. I said it. It's not a cheer. It's a roar in there. It's a different. The noise in that, it's like a coliseum. Like they know how to make noise there.
That must make it really hard, does it? So, in terms of your preparation, you can go and stand in the bathroom and get really good acoustics and stand in front of the mirror, and you can practice the lines, and you can practice them and practice them and practice them. But what you, and this is the thing I find it, must be very hard, like learning on the job or perfecting on the job, because you simply can't replicate what's happening in the venue. You can't replicate that noise and that all the other things that go into it. You can't replicate it. It's just about getting on and doing it, isn't it?
And with the things that rattle around in my head, I've got to deal with that as well. Like I've got to deal with me and myself. I've got to deal with that, and you can't replicate that. But I think the Newcastle and Glasgow were big ones to start off of for me. I mean, they're all big. They're all big now. There's the only sort of smaller one left is, I guess, probably Brighton, isn't it? In terms of but then the jump from that is huge, isn't it? I mean, that's about what, 4,000 there, if that.
5, maybe, if that.
Yeah, and then you got Berlin, which is like 15 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean that'll be Swiss Phil will be having that one, so I won't have to worry about that.
Oh, have we just got an exclusive?
Well, I assume, I don't know. I mean,
he was on last week. He was on with us.
Yeah, he was on last week. Yeah, he wouldn't say anything. So there you go. So we got the exclusive.
I think Phil should be Swiss Phil should be doing that, shouldn't he? Yeah, really? No. Of course, I'd do it if they asked me. I would do it, but he's the voice and the face of PDC Europe, isn't he? And he's part of the reason why the growth has been so big. It's not just that he's a major part behind the scenes, isn't he, Phil? He's a major player in the growth of darts, and he should be. Of course, he should be. If he wants to do it, I'm sure that would be I drop myself in it, but I would have thought I know I'm not fit for that one.
It's cheaper on the expenses as well, isn't it? It's much cheaper on the expenses. If you've got to take the Lewis John tour bus all the way over
with my private jet, mate. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Is that what happened? Is that what happened now since you did Bahrain in Saudi, pal? Is that what it was? Can I just say, we've also got one here. Lou Dog, #1 fan. I think they might like you at this point. Lou Dog got me into darts when I seen him on TV.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Who was that? What was it? What was it called? Let me write it down.
Lou Dog, #1 fan on YouTube is the one there. So it says Lou Dog got me into darts when I see him on TV. So there you go. I just want to ask, because again, this is going to sound like #humble brag. I do a little bit of PA announcing in Stadia, bit of cricket, right? Now, I don't find that difficult to do, because it's 4,000 people. The majority of people at T20 Blast matches don't give what you're saying, because they're on the beers. But the difference for me is that But the difference to me is that I don't have to worry about being live on TV. All I'm doing is just doing in venue. So similar, obviously, when you do stage 2 at Minehead a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk about the challenges, if you don't mind, about the challenges of doing the announcing there for the PDC when you're live on TV and you've got 12,000 people, plus you've got the director in your ear going, cue, stop, wait, all the rest of it. About that, because to learn on the job, as Dan was saying, it sounds terrifying.
Well, yeah, it is. It can be, but I still enjoy it. It can.
Yeah.
What's I think it's like the good thing for me. I think a Premier League where you've got the same players for that period of time is really good for me in terms of it's stuff in your head, because like I've seen a lot of comment about, because like some people, I've got to start blinking more. I know that I've noticed that, because like he looks like he's about his. I won't say some of the things, but
yeah.
I've seen some comments saying, "Oh, he's reading an auto cue." There is no auto cue. You got to remember all that stuff in your head, and if you do get, of course, it's like sometimes it can sort of drop out your head a little bit, and you just have to experiment. And sometimes, if you're in a sort of situation where you're growing into a role, you're going to start going, oh, and you know that your facial expression, that's hitting it, you know that, and it's something you can't avoid. But over the amount of experience I had before I jumped on to sort of do the big stuff, to the amount of mistakes I made, I don't think it's been a bad balance. Of course, I know I've made mistakes, but like, you don't get better unless you do make mistakes. I've had a frank conversation with a lot of people at Sky and with Matt from the PDC. Like, you're going to make mistakes. It's going to be a part of that role that you're going to make them, and that's going to sort of put things in your head to not make the mistakes again, which I think starting, which is good experience for me. But yeah, of course it can be terrifying. But the good thing is with a lot of it is with the directors in your ear and stuff, is that they're aware of that you are sort of new at the role as well, and they'll actually be like, you've delivered the first leg on really nice, and they actually say something nice to calm you down for your next bit. Particularly when we went away and we were trying all new things in the World Series, which is all new production. Lots of things were very new there, and I had my famous forgetting where I was, but I just didn't know what was going on for a second. The world fell out my head. But you've got an amazing director, like people like Dion, who's one of the directors of the show. I mean, and Simon, some of the other guys that are there. You've got a really, really good team to support you around it. So it does massively help. That it really is. It's not a cliche, but it really is a team effort when it comes to the production of it. And you are made to feel comfortable. And mate, as well, that I've known some of these people, longer than the role. How long are we doing this role? Like Steve Brando, for example, one of the floor managers, and Derek. I've known them since
history for me. The best.
Yeah, I've known them since I was 23, 24 years of age, or whenever it was I started in darts. So,
well, just before you go, I know you want to ask a question, but I just want to say, in terms of what you were saying there about making mistakes, people who are going on at you on X, I know you know this anyway, but this is my point that I always say. If you don't think, if you haven't made a mistake as a person, you are not a person. Everybody makes mistakes. The only difference is that sometimes you're doing it to millions of people, and they're sat watching it. They're not actually trying to have.
And some people are dying for me to fail, and of course they are, because people like seeing things go wrong for people that are doing well. Of course they do.
In this country, we don't.
We all do.
Also, but also as well, I come back to the fact that John McDonnell did not become John McDonnell immediately in terms of darts. Yes, he's done a fair bit of boxing, but he was replacing the legend. Obviously, John's a legend as well.
John got
he was
grief.
replacing Phil Jones.
Yeah, John got grief for a good couple of years. But so you're going to get that, and people are entitled to criticize you and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, I don't. What some of the things I don't go and look at anything whilst I'm in the middle of a session or anything like that, middle of a tournament. I try not to, because you can't say, oh yeah, no, I don't look at it, because you're gonna. It's all part of that. You wear stuff out there. To be honest, I don't actually look at X anymore. I just think I just can't really be bothered just to see and to be honest, whenever you go on it, that generally I'm just like, it's all too much. I don't want the comments on some of the things that I'm posting in. I'll take those things on board. But yeah, I'm aware of it, and people love to think they're a big judge and their opinion matters. You go on it, some of them have got 4 followers, yet they send like 50,000 tweets.
Yes.
I just think, really, don't worry about it, mate. Just relax. It's fine.
Have a bourbon. Shut up.
Yeah,
and that is the thing. We've had a few players on where we've talked to like players about their development and their game, and I think some of the thing. We had Niall Cullerton on the other week just after he'd got his card at Q School, and he talked about how all of this different advice that he's had over the years from all these different people, loads of different blokes down the pub through to former world champions that had all offered him bits of advice as to how to get better. And I think one of the skills and how you actually become better is to learn to filter that out and realize what to listen to and what to completely disregard and not to even look at in the first place. And when you start to work out which are the bits that are the good things to hear and listen to and what helps you move on, that's sometimes the key, is filtering that, isn't it? Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm going to be listening to the people at the PDC and the broadcasters in terms of what they give me, the advice that they're giving me, which there's still bits that the advice they give me which I'm struggling to implement just purely because I'm concentrating on other things, such as exactly where I'm looking at the camera and controlling certain parts of my delivery. But ultimately, I know that I'm part of that. I'm involved with the best promoter in sport and the biggest broadcasters in sport, and that I must be proving at a rate that's going to be held up to a level where. I know I've still got a way to go with it. I know that, but also I'm really trying not to mimic anybody else, because you can't reinvent the wheel on it. But I've got to sort of start finding those which myself, which I think are starting to come. Which I know, I'm implementing some bits like that as well. And also, like you said as well, it's part of the show as well. Like there's the bits that I do off camera, which the feedback from that is very, very positive as well. As you see,
brilliant, mate. It's brilliant.
If you see those bits that come up from that, and have you seen it live? You've seen me do some stuff live as well, haven't you? So
we've been there to enough of the darts events, mate. And like I said, the way you I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. The way you interact with the crowd to get them on board with the fireball stuff, with a lot of the dance cams and all the rest of it. Is outstanding, and I'm not just saying that, it's outstanding.
Yeah, and I pretty appreciate that because and to be honest, that was the most nerve-wracking things when I was terrible when I first started out. I couldn't get my words out. I was just like, it's all these people just staring at you, and you're just like,
entertain us, come on.
Yeah, it's just like
it's gone to a break.
It's much better. And the crowd warm-ups, I struggled with the crowd warm-ups at first a bit, but I just sort of found it, the more relaxed and the more myself I was, people quite warm to me, and also that I was enjoying it. Once you do get, I'll get a massive buzz from doing that. And there has been a really good reaction with that as well. And when I walked up for the final walk on for the last match, in Glasgow on Thursday, the section of the crowd sing my name, which was just like, what's happened to my life? It's crazy. People know my name.
And that's great, mate. That's superb.
Already, have you got a favourite player to introduce yet? Have you got one that you really like doing?
Oh, do that to me, Barcy.
PB, not him.
Looking for the he's always looking for the headline. We're just here for the
headline. Lewis Jones's favourite player is and hates so and so.
Certain names roll off the tongue easier, and you can put your style on it. And others are clunky and are hard to say at the best of times.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't enjoy. It's hard to pick a favourite one. Particularly, I think I like doing Josh Rock's one. I like Josh a lot. I think he's good. He's good fun, and I think we're going to see him. I know he's not had the greatest of starts, but I've always really rated Josh Rock. I quite enjoy doing Josh runs. I like, but also I like doing some of the lads that I used to look after. Like with Michael.
Simon Whitlock as well at the Worlds and things like that.
Well, I didn't get to do it, did I? Simon's one, which I was gutted about, to be honest, because that would have been a nice touch for me, to be honest, because obviously I spent a lot of time with Simon, and it would have been nice because I was so happy for him to get back to the Worlds. But I did get to do a bit down the Super Series of him when he won the seniors one down at the Super Series. So, it's hard to put on that. If I had to pick one out, if you're saying to me, at the moment, I think I do enjoy doing Josh Rock's one. But of course, I don't want to come out. But when you're announcing Littler's one, of course, it is.
Yeah,
you read that. It's almost like about the list of things you read that, you go, how is it possible for a lad of this age to have all this stuff? Like what?
You could already see the headline tomorrow now. You could already see the headlines in the tabloids. Lewis Jones hates this player from the comment and take it out of context. Well done, Barzi.
I'm not going to push you to say, I'm not even going to ask you to say a name because you're too professional to do so. But there must have been a few times where you've looked, you've sort of looked at the schedule for the day and gone, oh, come on. And just those names, and you think, oh, come on, he's playing him, are we? This stitching me up.
Honestly, I've looked at some of it and thought, oh, God, this is quite hard. But I mean, I come from a Cypriot family where we've got big Greek. My mum's maiden name's Papa Nicolau, so I'm.
Here we go.
Do you know what I mean? I'm quite cultured in that type of thing as well. But I look at someone and go, I don't know if that's a Wi-Fi password or But the good thing, I'll just go and sit down with the guys and I'll go through it and just do it phonetically. I'll look at it and go, yeah, no, I can't. And then we'll write it down in a way. Which once you've done it, then you understand that bit there. But I'm joking. Yes. Their names, of course, don't have Wi-Fi passwords. But something I don't know how if I can get my head round that. But you do, and you sit down with the team and you get it right. And of course, once you then go on to do it. But it's other thing. It's like James Hurrell's name. It's like you got Hurrell. You could easily make a mistake on a name that you're familiar with in your own sort of names that you're used to from the UK. Like I think someone mentioned to me. I think it's is it Hurrell or Hurrell or whatever it is. And then I felt more worried about going up and saying things like that sometimes because it's easier to get those bits wrong, I guess.
I suppose it's where you stretch out. Obviously there's parts of the and like you say, what you don't want to be, and I don't think anybody wants you to be, is the next John McDonnell. And you don't want to just think, well, how did he say? Oh, he said no, he was longer on the A and then short. And you still want to do it in a way that isn't almost like you're taking the piss. Not you want to do it. Properly, not find someone that isn't there. It must be tough to come up with that for everyone.
Yeah, especially with the Dutch guys' names, because we know John would deliver them, which I do on some and not the others. I think some of them are quite. You're gonna fall back into doing that. But yeah, you do. It's working out the bits like that. But they do sort of they become comfortable. Once you've done it a few times, it does become comfortable, and you know that once you deliver it a few different times, that again what it's going to sound like in your head, and there definitely can be bits like that where you sort of don't want to get it wrong halfway through. So
Warren asks, which event or venue are you most looking forward to doing this year?
Good question. So, of course, Minehead's got a big place in my heart there because,
we'll all be there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the Minehead crew. Gives up your Minehead.
Wait, Mal. I was going to ask you this. Could you potentially be tempted into a drink on the Saturday night? Maybe.
No, not allowed.
That's
myself not allowing it. So
okay.
I can't. The days are too long, and it's too much at stake for the players. For me, you might be out and have a glass of Coke or something, but It's so busy. The Sunday, I probably will on the Sunday.
Please come out. We'd love to buy you a drink, mate.
I come out on the Sunday night. But it's, I think when you've also, I'm also aware of bits such as if you make them. Oh, sorry.
There you go.
That's that powerful voice of mine moving the phone.
But yes.
It's something again that I think that you are calling players to the stage, and especially towards the late. You're looking at your quarter, semis, and finals. You've got to be on the ball for it, because it could be something getting to a players there before they go in front. Whatever. You just don't want to be not showing the professionalism of that. So. I'd like to see that, but Premier League wise, I'm not to say for like some of my favourite places to used to go has always been Belfast as well. So doing Belfast this week is massive. I've always really liked Belfast as a city. I've liked it to go out as a drink. I like all the history there, and you guys that again. There's a noise level there, and I think when I announced Josh Rock on Thursday, I'm just
it's going to be big.
It is going to be huge.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward. When was the last time there was a Northern Irish playing it? Since probably Dale Gurney, was it?
2018,
probably 2020, I think. 2020.
Would have been Dale Gurney, wouldn't it?
Where we didn't actually go there.
Yeah,
No,
I don't think we went to
of
Belfast.
course.
In 2020. I think it was.
Did we? I thought we'd gone to Belfast by the time. Oh, was it Dublin? I'm thinking of by the time COVID hit. I don't know. Hang on, I'll look now.
Because I think for
O'Connor.
Oh, it was
William O'Connor.
No, it was.
Yeah, he's from the south.
One. Yeah, O'Connor.
Was that like a guest appearance? Was that a guest?
Yeah, William O'Connor was one of the challengers.
Gurney was
Contenders, wasn't it? When Gary was back.
Gurney was there in 2020, though. Gurney was there in 2020 as a normal player, but Belfast, I think, was maybe the last couple just before it got cancelled. But
I don't remember if we'd run it or not.
So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that, and if you've been to Belfast before with what it's like in that, it's another place where it's just very unique, and the people there are absolutely brilliant as well. So I'm really looking forward to that, as they are over a bit. Belfast is always one that I really enjoy going to.
Rob says this is a good one. One of the perks of the job that this year you'll get your own Panini card.
I hope so. Well, providing they keep me on, but yeah.
Lewis, if you get a card, will you sign one for my lads?
Of course you can, mate.
Good man.
I'd love to. I'll sign it Ludog as well.
I've got a 10-year-old that'll be over the moon with that.
Yeah.
What I was
going to say.
It's live. I'm having it.
I was going to say, if you are desperate to stay in the great city of Birmingham afterwards in the Premier League, I'll be in the media room. If you fancy a traipse up Broad Street for a pint after,
definitely don't mind that at all, mate.
Obviously,
yeah.
And as I said before, we'll be very, very happy to buy you a drink on Sunday night for all the work you're going to do. Are you allowed to say who's on stage 2 this year? Because
I don't know.
I know. Oh, do you not? Oh, okay.
I don't. No, I honestly don't know. There was a guy Rich last year on it. I
was just going to say, because I've met Rich through cricket. He is superb, and I'd love it to go back again.
Yeah, he's a stadium announcer, isn't he? He does stuff on radio as well. He's an absolutely he's a proper sports fan, isn't he? Hold on, my dog's trying to get up. 1 second, sorry about this.
Here he is, actual Lou Dog.
Is it really wrong?
Actual Lou Dog. Oh, beautiful.
She's trying to work out where the voices are coming from, but she can see that now.
I was just going to say, mate, I don't know if Barzi's, we probably have to talk about the Premier League ourselves in a bit.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, pal, but certainly from my side, and I know how difficult it is as a PA announcer, just in general, doing a load of different sports, to see the progression that you've made. Yeah, everyone always says the first one's always the worst one because you have got no clue what you're doing. But to see you progressing as much as you have done, it is like night and day, mate. And
I appreciate that. Thank you.
As progression, top work, and like I say, looking forward to seeing you in Cardiff as well on the Premier League night. If you need a lift down to mine, let me know. if you need a lift down to mine.
Mate, honestly, many people don't want me to get in their car because I talk too much. So I'll probably have to jump in with you by the time
if you want to lift on Thursday night, let me know because I'm working it because Barzi's going to the Curry Club with the lads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're all going for a curry in Minehead, and he's not invited. He's not fun enough. We send him to Cardiff instead.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Everyone, the one, the only, Mr. Lewis Jones, Ludog, thank you very much
See you
for
guys.
coming on the show, buddy.
Thanks
Massively
for having me on. I
appreciated.
appreciate it. It's been brilliant. Thanks for all the support and everything. I do
I'll see
See you in
you
appreciate it.
Minehead,
on
pal.
Thursday,
See you there,
my
guys.
friends, and thank you very much, everyone. Mr. Ludog.
See you, mate.
See you later. See you later. Cheers, guys.
I enjoyed that. That was
He's
class.
a good egg, isn't he? Yeah, he's a good lad.
you know-
He's a good egg.
Do you know something, actually? I remember meeting him properly for the first time last year in Minehead with you, PB. And to see the difference in him now from then, in terms of not just obviously around the work elements of things, it is what it is with work. But to see the difference with him just as a person and how relaxed he seems now, because he knows that the progression's there. He knows he's, the PDC light. And it's the same with me in the same way, like first year at Warwickshire, I was shitting my pants. Now, this will be the fourth year I do it. You get used to it and you know how a gig works and all the rest of it. And you can see that now progressing with it. I can't wait. I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to see him again in Minehead. Looking forward to it. Like I say, I'll probably see him in Cardiff a week on Thursday. What a place!
Yeah, that was,
the great
wicked.
utility arena.
I think
That was-
it's definitely a real positive now that he seems to have a bit of stability going forward, knowing that it's like when I saw him in Minehead, and I genuinely, and I mentioned it, I could see how hard he was working when the camera wasn't on at progression, trying to make sure that he was getting better and improving and getting it right. But I think there was you've got the pressure. I think he almost had two lots of pressure on him at the time, because he had, first of all, he had the pressure that he had to actually go and do it, which is, like our friend says, you can't practice shitting yourself and you've got to go through that. But at the same time, he was essentially on, one of the most public job interviews anyone's ever seen, because, he had no reassurance that back then at Minehead that he was going to be doing the Premier League this year or some World Series events. It was very much still, as far as we knew, and I think as far as he knew, it was undecided as to what the future held. And I think now, seeing that progression, but also some of it, I think, is him maybe perhaps not feeling like he is on trial. He's been given an extended period of work where he knows he's doing it, and he's not under pressure to try and get the next gig or get the next job, which I think was maybe a bit of pressure on him as that uncertainty towards the back end of last year.
100%. Well, speaking of the Premier League, Johnny Clayton stole the show in Glasgow. He was outstanding, the ferret, from start to finish. He got a big monkey off his back, then he beats Luke, and then he 104 average in the final. Johnny Clayton, just unplayable at times.
Do you remember when people said that he shouldn't be in the Premier League? Do you remember those people that said that he wasn't deserving of a place? Them ones.
Them the same ones that said Luke was finished last week.
Top of the league.
Well, again, you just come back to it. Every single year he's been in the full Premier League, he has made the Premier League playoffs.
Yeah.
The man knows what to do. But I think you mentioned it just then, Buzz. I think the biggest thing of that whole night is not the fact of the 101 against Littler, and let's be frank, he made sure that Littler couldn't really get a proper chance at a double at that really during that game. And it wasn't the 104 in the final. The biggest thing is beating Gezi.
Yeah,
100%.
The biggest thing, because that now just frees him up. The record's over. It's 11. It's 11 wins, and now he has that positive recent head-to-head record because he won the last game. Especially when you could be playing him for the next 14 weeks.
Correct.
That is important.
Very important to just get rid of that. And I worried for I rarely worry for Johnny. You worry on behalf of lots of players, and you think, if they go through a spell, you think, well, I rarely worry for Johnny because he just always seems to just be able to come and score a lot of 140s and make people work very hard, and he'll create enough chances for himself generally. But I did think, if this gets on top of him, this Gezi thing, then they're going to bump into each other a lot in this Premier League. And what I didn't want is, beyond week 3, it to become a story, because it would, and by night 5 and night 7, when they've started playing each other more regularly, it's going to be a feature on Sky, and the commentators are going to be talking about it more. And the more that is the case, the bigger it then gets. And I think it's perfect for Johnny, regardless of what happened the rest of the night, to just, that quarterfinal, game 1, turn up, done, sorted. And then now I can move on with the rest of the Premier League season, knowing that I haven't got to have that conversation. There's not going to be a feature on Sky. The interviewers aren't going to ask me about it. It's on.
But the big thing as well is that obviously, 10 days time from now, they're going to be meeting, they're in the Premier League in Cardiff. And amazingly, the two of them have been kept apart in the draw in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. They're in separate sections of the draw. I don't know how the hell that's happened.
That's remarkably good fortune.
Unbelievable. Next should be telling me that Michael...
Good.
Well, next should be telling me that MBG and GVV have been kept apart in Rotterdam. Again, amazing how it works. But my point is the fact that when it gets to, if the two of them do get to a final, and it is an all-Welsh final, the fact that he's beaten Gezi prior to that is massively important.
Yeah, of course
it's huge. It's huge.
Yep. Yeah, I think it was a really, really good night for Johnny. And again, I just think, it's like everything, isn't it? And we talk about it loads when we talk about the races to qualify for tournaments and everything else. Let's be honest. What is the Premier League if anything other than it's just a qualification process to be in the top 4? That's all it is. The Premier League is essentially a travelling qualification process, because the real business end is just that last night. That's where you go and lift your.
You just got to get in the dance. If you get in the dance, you've got a chance. That's as simple as that. Easier.
As same with when you're qualifying for any other tournament, any other event. It is far easier to be sat in that qualification process in the green trying to maintain than it is to be sat outside trying to chase people down. And we've seen it bounce up and down and bounce around. But generally, when Johnny Clayton gets himself into that top 4 of the Premier League, he'll often just stay there. And he won't win every week, but he'll often just get himself in that top 4 and stay there. He'll just stick around.
100%. Overall, I thought the hydro was really good, though. So far, I think probably the best night we've had so far out the first 3.
Comfortably.
Yeah.
It was a shame that obviously
starting in Newcastle it pays, but I agree. I think it's probably the best night so far.
And it's a shame, obviously, that MVG is ill and he, and that he didn't play, and obviously, but let me ask you this question: you'd had good money after 3 weeks of Luke Humphries and Luke Littler not being in the top 4, and Luke only winning, and Luke currently right now with a -7 leg difference and only won 1 game. But obviously he's finished.
You're not worried, though, are you?
He's finished, clearly.
You're not worried, though, are you, Jan?
Mate,
them two not dominating the first 3 weeks makes the race for the playoffs much more interesting.
Correct.
If they'd have been in the first 3 finals and shared them between us, we'd be like, oh, well, everyone's fighting for 2 spots. Where now, the 4 spots are still open.
Well, it also makes for, I'm sorry to jump in, it also makes for, depending on how that pans out over the next few weeks, and who wins tonight and who doesn't, it makes for some potentially interesting things that could happen on night 8 in Berlin, when we're not on the standard rotating fixture. We could see something quite interesting, and that could, then again, you might end up with a bit of a rogue winner and people meet where they shouldn't. And I just think it's, whilst we haven't been electrified in the Premier League by the 2 players that we thought were going to electrify us so far, I think what's happened is going to make for a better Premier League at the back end. Like I do maintain it's been a bit flat so far, but I think it'll make for a more exciting last 2/3.
I mean, look,
don't disagree.
Let's be honest about it. We're all sitting here knowing that at some point in the next 2 weeks, Littler and or Humphreys will put together a run where for 5 to 6 weeks they will be sharing the finals and they'll be sharing the titles. We know that that's what's going to happen because because there's a body of work behind it. But the fact that it hasn't done it straight away is always that, is this the week? And if it isn't, it's like, oh, there's another week that's been ticked off. We're
then
quarter of the way through by the end of this week.
And I also think that while that's happening, and this like it sounds like a real disservice to everybody else because they are the very best players in the game. But I think every time you get a week where neither of the Lukes wins is a bit of like a bit of an outsider, isn't it? It's a bit of a it's a bit of a shock. Yeah, you can go, oh, that's it. That's interesting, isn't it? That's he won a night, did he? Oh, good on him. You can have
literally. It's like when you're watching it, you're like, oh, Johnny's in the final. Johnny's being Luke 6-1. Oh, bloody hell, Clayton's in a final. Here we go.
And it shouldn't be because they're so good. But like you said, there is a body of work. There is a body of work that stacks up that, what most people think is going to happen, and when they use the name Luke is within those predictions, that's not rogue. It's a pretty informed prediction. There's an awful lot of evidence behind that being the wise thing to predict. It's just it just hasn't happened just yet. But yeah, I think there'll be a few alarm bells ringing among those Premier League players, having watched what happened in Poland at the weekend. I think that I think there will have been some Premier League players watching that 113, watching that 108, just sort of almost rolling their eyes, thinking, "Oh, fucking hell, he's back. He's back." That was a good 3 weeks, wasn't it, lads?
It was fun, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, we are going to the Odyssey in Belfast.
It's not the Odyssey now.
It'll always be the Odyssey, the same as the Manchester Arena. It'll always be the M&M.
The M&M? The M&M, is it?
It'll always be the Motor Point. None of this
Marshall Mathers
Arena. Then it's not the Nottingham Arena. That's the Motor Point as well.
No. Nottingham Arena will always be the Trent FM Arena, and the same way whatever the Birmingham one is, it always will be the NIA. Simple as.
Berlin will never be the Uber Eats Arena. It will always be the Mercedes Benz. The Liverpool Arena will always be the Echo.
Yeah, that's fine. No issues with that.
What is it then? So what have they called it? Is it SSE? Is that what
SSE Arena?
They love a renaming. I do a bit of work with them. I'm going to bring that up next time I see one of their people because I don't like it. I'm going to tell them as a customer I don't like it.
Can I just say,
as a customer, I'm fucking sick of you sticking your name on all sorts of nice things. Stop it.
I mean, look, as I said, I'm going to Cardiff next week. It's not Cardiff, by the way, that I hate, because Cardiff as a city is absolutely banging, but that arena is shite. It is terrible.
To be fair, I got 2 weeks off in the Premier League. I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I know you are. You don't have to go to Cardiff. You don't have to go to the Trent FM Arena. You lucky sod.
But we are going to the Odyssey. The quarterfinals are as follows: Johnny Clayton in a rematch with Luke Littler. Stephen Bunting takes on Luke Humphreys. Michael Van Gerwen takes on Gerwin Price, and Gian Van Veen takes on Josh Rock. I get the feeling that the atmosphere for that last game might be a little bit good.
Jiang needs to maybe take in a mental coach maybe this week. That's just my opinion.
I don't know. I think he's solid, mate. I genuinely think he's mentally very, very well. Very, very solid. I honestly think, and unless I think the guy's one of two things. He's either a brilliant, or he has a remarkable talent for masking, like everything. Because
either a great poker player,
or he is mentally incredibly well positioned. I think I think if anyone could have dealt with, or could deal with what I think he's going to get this week, I think Jan might be about as good as there is at that.
Well, let's go through it in order. Chat room, get involved as well. First up, it is the back-to-back champion of the world, world number one, Luke Littler, against last week's winner, Johnny Clayton. Will it be repeat or revenge in Belfast?
You know me?
Revenge.
Yeah,
Revenge.
agreed.
Don't.
Revenge.
And I caveat this by saying that had Littler not done what he did at the weekend in Poland, then I would probably say it would be repeat, because I think Clayton played really well. But Littler's just averaged under an 8 at a final. And I got hit against him, and realistically didn't really look that bothered. 6-2, 6-1, 7-3, 8-4.
I think he quite enjoyed watching it. I think he was like, that was good. You like that? I'll carry on though, shall I? Winning these legs.
Watch this. 6-3.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. Do you know what? You have 6-3. I'll have 6-2. Go on. I'll be generous.
Right. Well, 6-3 was what I was thinking.
I'm going the other way. I'm going 6-4. But still, I think Littler wins. So everyone back Clayton. The chat room. Greatest Showman 6-3. Littler, Kira in the same scoreline. So Kay. Joel's gone 6-4. Johnny Show's on 6-2. Littler. I think it'll be a good game still. But I just think that Luke looks pumped.
Let me put it this way. If Johnny Clayton wins this game, would we be surprised? No.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
But the big thing is that would we be surprised that Luke Littler will not be in the top 4 of the Premier League after a quarter of the season? Yes.
Yes, I would.
Yes.
Also, don't be surprised if Johnny Clayton beats Luke Littler. Don't be surprised if he wins the night again. If he gets off to a start.
I'll tell you what. Well, do you know what? I'll save my comment once we go into the next game.
Stephen Bunting against Luke Humphreys. And both of these missing the Pro Tour this week as well. So going to have some time at home before they go to Belfast. Are we concerned yet?
Go on, lad.
Yes.
You've got one in the chamber. What you got?
Well, obviously, Clayton, he'd have to go through both the Lukes to win the night. Or at least get to a final, because Humphreys don't lose at this.
Yeah, it's just two bottom-ass players, though, aren't they? It's just two bottom-ass.
Yeah, that is true. That is true, yeah. Luke Humphreys, what's he ever done? Don't quote that, for God's sake.
there's the short form content done for the week.
There's the short
two
form.
bottom-half players, what have they ever done?
Barzy's ready to clip the headline up and get the drivers' engagement on the channel. Yeah. The Red Tops are gonna have a field day. No, look, Humphreys wins this 6-2. I think I'll be generous, but for me, if Bunting doesn't win this week, I think if he's got Gezi next week as well, Jesus Christ, he does not have the facilities for that big man if he doesn't win this week. I think we can probably call it if he doesn't win this week, to be brutally honest.
Dan?
Yeah, I think we talked, or I think I said last week that was his opportunity, I think, to get one over Johnny before the fixtures got on top of him. And Johnny played amazing darts, dispatched him really quick, and now I think the fixtures are going to get on top of him. And it just, you look through, and I can't see where the points are going to come from. I think it's a comfortable Humphreys 6-2.
A little bit closer, 6-3, but I'm still with you. I'm going Humphreys. Joel's going 6-3 Humphreys, as is Malachi. Tim's going 6-1. Wayne 6-5 Bunting. K 6-3 Humphreys. Shelby 6-3 Humphreys. So then Garwin Price takes on Michael Van Garwin. Look, Michael again pulled out the Pro Tour. So be interesting to see how fit Michael is.
What's he meant to pull out? Do we know?
No, he was in to start with. He pulled out today, right. I'm guessing.
Good. Okay.
I mean,
Gerwin wins. Price, that is. He wins 6-4. I've liked the way MVG's played this year, but I think the best player so far this year in terms of consistency. Obviously, they're doing what he did at the Worlds and then the Masters. I get that, but in terms of consistency, the best player this year has been Gerwin Price. 6-4.
Yeah. I again, it sounds a bit harsh, but I find it very difficult to. if I was going to put me 50 pence somewhere, it's difficult to pick the player that missed last week and the weekend out of illness, then isn't playing, the tournaments that lead into it this week. I just think it's almost it's too hard for me to pick MVG this week because of the last 7 days. So I think it's Gezi Price 6-3.
I mean, Gezi's also playing in the what's it called? Isn't he playing in the Pro Tour this week?
Pro Tours, yeah.
Which might actually be. I would not be too surprised to see a late pull out on Wednesday. Just by thoughts.
He only plays the one day.
He wins on Tuesday and he pulls out on Wednesday. Guarantee it.
Sounds like a Craig David song.
Is that the 7 Days remix now?
Brilliant. Yes, let's have that redone. But somebody get that into AI as quick as people start using
Price
AI.
Won the Pro Tour on Tuesday, then he flew to Belfast on Wednesday. He beat MVG on Thursday. I can't tell all the rest of it.
Right. Do you know what? This is where, if people could start using AI for actual productive things instead of instead of medical research and other stuff that they're using it for, and they could start using it to rehash 1990s songs to,
I'm here for it. Well, have you seen that Milky, Just the Way You Are, all of a sudden has become back in the charts?
I'd just like to point out that Craig David was 2000.
Was it? What that was that the album was it? Born to Do It. Born to Do It is 20.
Was that on Born to Do It?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I had it.
I'm so
old.
I think I worked in Woolworths at the time.
What a gaff. What a gaff Woolworths was. Anyway,
my first ever job I had was the entertainment counter at Woolworths. You could put stuff behind the counter before it arrived or before it went on sale.
You never did that.
Nice gig.
But we've got James has gone 0-0. Malachi's gone 6-4 MVG. Kaz asked what happens if they both pull out. I don't think that'll happen, but it would be quite amusing.
Don't end up with 3 kids like me.
6-2 Kezi. Joel 6-5 MVG. Kez gone 6-4 Price.
Barzy, what have you gone with?
I'm going Price.
Okay. So congratulations, Michael, then.
Yeah. Wayne's gone 6-3 Price. Great showing 6-5 MVG. Kieran's gone 6-4 Price. Shelly's gone 6-3 Price. Tim 6-4 Price. Can we bring Lou Dog back? Lou Dog was good. Then we got some £1 singles. Rob says, Dan, scalping the Spice Girls album, was it? 96?
Oh, mate, so we used to get in, because obviously in order for it to be in the shop, the shop has to have it before it's released. We used to be back in the warehouse, after work, playing all of next week's songs that were coming, that were coming out the following week. It was honestly what a cool job. That combined with the access to pick and mix. Honestly, what a job! What a job that was! What a job!
The greatest invention ever. Fact. People who aren't old enough to realise.
Mark suggests I might have caused the death of Woolworths. Now I'm going to say that me having unfettered access to the pick and mix on evening stocking shifts, I certainly contributed, big man. I certainly contributed.
Then the final game of the quarterfinals, it will be Ham Van Vane against hometown hero Josh Rock. It's going to be loud, but are the Odyssey going to get what they want?
Yes. 6-5, Josh Rock. I like it. I mean, Gian's made 2 finals now already? 2 out of 3. F it. I'll go with it. But because didn't he lose in the quarterfinal after he made week 1? Pretty sure he did.
Yeah, lost in Antwerp.
Yeah, 6-5, didn't he, to Gezi? Yeah, happens again. It's happened again. It's happened again.
You think that's his pattern? Final, first round. That's his. I mean, he'll get you there.
For this purpose,
that'll get you to the O2.
Yeah, for this purpose, yes.
I think it's hard. I think it's a really hard one to pick. This hardest one of the night, because Just
I will say
hasn't
this.
clicked yet.
I will say this. I don't think it will be a pretty watch for a multitude of reasons. I think the crowd will really get involved, which is a shame. And I do think that there will be some very sloppy darts.
Yeah, they're going to, aren't they? They're going to get. Man, I said how mentally strong Jan was. 6-5. Josh Rock.
Got to go the same scoreline as me.
6-4. Van Veen. Sorry.
Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. We can
balance.
Often that we said.
There is balance in the force. There is the force.
Yeah,
in balance.
absolutely right.
Oh dear me. Yeah, I do think it's a tough one to pick though. That I just think it's a bit of one of I don't get me, I feel like I'm being a bit negative about it. Here's the positive. As a fan who enjoys watching darts, that is the game where absolutely anything could happen. It could be 109 average plays 89 average, or it could be both of them averaging 107, or it could be both of them averaging 88. Like absolutely anything could happen. Absolutely anything could happen in that game, and that's a reason to look forward to watching it.
Agreed. Chat room is going for Tim's gone 6-5. Van Veen, Great Showman 6-4. Rock, Joel 6-4. Rock, K 6-5. Rock, Kaz gone 6-2. Rock, Wayne 6-5. Rocky, same as for Kieran. Marco's gone 6-4. Van Veen, as has Shelty. James 6-3 Rock, and Chris has gone 6-0 Van Veen.
Shock.
So, from your predictions, I would like your winner in Belfast, and who do they beat in the final?
Well, for me, it's going to be a Luke in the final, obviously. She's out of my league.
Oh Christ, we've got to that.
Dragging me in. Yeah.
Is that McFly or Busted?
That's McFly, my friend.
I mean, it makes no fucking difference. Like it's essentially
they're all the same.
It's essentially interchangeable, isn't it? Like
it's all generic pop twaddle.
Yeah,
that is a banger of a song. To be fair.
I mean, it's a low bar if that's where you're starting.
That is a banger. Obviously, it's a tune. I would.
Luke.
I'd say that.
A Luke beats a Gerwin. I think a Luke beats a Gerwin.
Yeah.
Luke Littler beats Gerwin Price in the final.
You dick.
And he beats him 6-3.
You absolute cockwomble.
I do keep getting in a bit early, don't I? I've started to play. You need to be out quicker. You need to be out sharper in these Premier League.
The last time I had that, the last time I was told that was then I had a kid.
We've talked about that tonight already.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you know what? Gerwin Price makes the final again. He beats Josh Rock in a semi-final, but he then loses to a Luke, and he loses to Luke Humphreys, because I am going with the thought that Humphreys has been playing too well this year not to win something. He won on the Pro Tour last week, was absolutely outstanding, and I think he wins 6-4 against Littler in a semi-final, and then he beats Gezi 6-4 again in the final. Yeah, sod it, why not?
I agree there will be a Luke in the final. And I agree with Mr. Simpson, it will be a Littler Luke.
Okay.
And he will play in a repeat of Poland, Jan van Veen.
Okay.
Could be coming a bit regular, this, couldn't it?
And the
Yeah.
Nuke picks up his first nightly win.
I'm just saying the only reason why I'm saying that there's two things. One, because I don't want all of us to pick Wonder Boy, and two, I want chaos. I want chaos. Boring.
Boring.
Dear me.
So
What's
that
that?
is Belfast for night 4. Remember, the Fallout Bar will return after play on Thursday as well. So make sure you like and subscribe so you know when we go live.
Could be a 2026 debut for Dan Simpson as well.
Was Dan Simpson passed the
Jesus.
late fitness test and available?
I've missed 3 weeks on the bounce so far this season.
That hamstring's not held up.
I think it's about how
you're doing one before Minehead. I thought you weren't due back, and I thought you weren't fighting fit till after Minehead, pal. That was the prognosis.
I might sneak one in before Minehead. I think I could maybe sneak one in this week.
Think he's passed a cheeky little fitness test.
Yeah, maybe he could come off the subs bench for 45 minutes for a quick run.
I might just go see. I might literally just come on for predictions at the end. I might just come on. I might just
for the final 15.
Yeah, I might just log in with a glass of wine for predictions and just go, all right, come on.
Yeah.
Let's hit them.
Yeah.
Super sub.
Yeah. Okay.
In the WDF, I didn't watch any of it, but we have a new world number 1, Mitchell Lawrie, now top of the youth and officially the WDF world number 1 at only 15. Bonkers.
Can I ask a really shitty question, right? Is it
You can
like so? And this is like I'm happy to be made a fool of, as always. Doesn't take much, and I'm happy to be called out on my lack of knowledge on the WDF side of the game. The fact that we've got a 15-year-old world number 1, does that tell us more that this guy, this kid, this young'un could be the second coming of Luke Littler, and everyone better hold on to their caps because in 2 years' time he'll be at the match play, turning people over and going wild? Or is it a bit of a should alarm bells be ringing about the standard of darts across the WDF that someone of that age at that stage of their career has been able to establish themselves as number 1?
Well, it's very similar, isn't it? Because obviously the one below him is Jensen Walker, and he's not exactly an old.
But this is
an old player, is he?
No, but that's my concern. Is that is there a potential that the WDF then just becomes a youth system? Because if all the young players are better than the other players, then it just becomes, it becomes a glorified dev tour, doesn't it?
I'm just
sure on that.
Just look at the WDF ranking now. Look, do I think he is a class above what is there? Yes.
Yeah.
But then, is there a lot of strength in depth? Ish. I think there's a lot of players there that are what I call yo-yo players, where they're not going to break the 64, but are too good not to have a tour card. Do you know what I mean? They're in that bit in between.
And I'm not, just so you know, I'm not playing devil's advocate here. Like I am. This is me putting my hands up, saying, "Look, I can only watch so much darts, and I don't follow that.
I don't pay. I'll be honest.
I should. So it's a question that comes from ignorance rather than anything else.
It's the same with me, mate. I don't pay attention to the WDF.
Good players in that system.
I don't pay attention to the WDF because there's nothing that's how can I put this delicately? There's nobody there really that tickles my fancy in terms of watching. The only one was Bo Greaves, and now she's a PDC tour card holder. Sesko, get in. Yeah, so I'm with you. Now, obviously I've watched Mitchell Lawrie on a number of occasions though, and I think that he's an outstanding talent. the problem he's got, and this is the problem with any young player that's going to be coming through, is that they're obviously going to be compared to Wonderboy. Now, Wonderboy was also the men's WDF #1 rank at one point before he turned 16. But I don't know if there was more depth there in that era. But obviously, I think I'm right in saying he never competed in the men's world championship there, did he?
Yeah, he lost. He lost to.
Yeah, he got beat, didn't he?
Richard Venture had a record average against him.
Of course. Yeah. Sorry. There you go. Shows my lack of knowledge anyway. Thank you. Thanks, everybody in the chat room for correcting me on that.
This is what I genuinely fills me full of fear talking WTF, because I know that everybody in the chat room knows more about it than I do.
Yeah. But anyway.
It's not a massive thing. It's more just congratulating Mitchell on doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And do I think that next year he's going to tear up the Dev Tour? Yeah. Absolutely, he will. I think he'll be there. Do I think that next year he might? Yeah. Do I think he'll make a UK Open next year? Depends if he wants to come down from Scotland to play in a qualifier at Riley's. But do I think he'll make the UK Open next year? Yeah. Do I think he could potentially go and get a card at Q School? Yeah. I think he's got it. I mean, I'll be absolutely here for Mitchell Lawrie against Luke Littler in any event, because then we get to see it's an eras match, isn't it? It's an era defining match that I'll be quite happy to see. 100%. When is Mitchell Lawrie 16?
No, not till November time. He's late in the year.
So my point is that he could potentially go this year to go to Q School. Next year, because
January he could go to Q School. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So go and get a card. Let's do it, because I think he could. I really do.
So yeah, congratulations to him. Also, we had the first ADA events of the year. First of all, the standout was obviously the 9 darter from Raymond Smith.
Love a 9.
Again, Raymond Smith is a class operator.
He's definitely he has always had it in him, hasn't he? You know that again. It's not a freak bit of news that we're not all going, oh, what? He's always had it in him. But yeah, really impressive and very pleasing to see him put it together and do it.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. The 4 events across the weekend. Event number 1, just getting that up.
Both. Well, Brody. Well, you don't need to worry about it, because Brody Clinch won events 1 and 2, and Raymond Smith won events 3 and 4.
I'm just looking who else had really good runs as well. That the usual suspects. James Bailey done well.
Darren Pennell, Joe Comito as well. They were
That's
pretty much
interesting that Penhall played again, because he put the darts away. Remember, he played at Ali Pali 2 years ago, and that was his swan song, if you will. So that's interesting.
It was there were decent standards as well across the board, weren't there? You know, I think the level, like, you know, granted you can go to, you know, the first round, you know, in the 1-8, and you can find a couple of stinkers here and there, but I think across the board the level was very good, very good, and especially when you look across, you know, the other affiliate tours, and you look at, you know, the mean average that you see on the other affiliate tours. I think you can look at that and think, oh, they're a solid set of events then, with some good darts being played.
Yeah, and interesting. No Ben Robb there this weekend that I can see, which was not an interesting one, but I thought he would have been there or thereabouts. But obviously, he must have had something on, or for whatever reason couldn't play. Well, but again, also nice that there was a streaming board, so we got to see the 9. That's a massive step forward from what we've seen down under in recent years as well, which was cool.
And like Marcus says, the fact they had 128 players there is massive. DPA and normally had 60. So again, it shows what you want.
It
what we
shows
want to
how
try and achieve.
fragmented
Yep,
domestic darts was in Australia.
But to be fair, you look at it, the ANZ Premier League was a success, massive success.
100,
So-
and off the back of that, I think the World Series goes to Adelaide next year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I think obviously it was already booked for this year, but the fact they sold, I think, 4,500 tickets for local domestic players, for want of a better phrase, I don't mean that disrespectfully, because they're all very good still. But the fact they sold 4,500 for domestic talents,
massive.
I think Adelaide is now primed for a World Series.
Is that true? The players from New Zealand can't play the ADA. I suppose they got the end. Have they got the NZ PA over there now? If memory serves me correctly.
That wasn't my understanding.
So
I thought they just
last year when the guys were on, it was going to be open for New Zealand players to play.
Yeah,
whether that's changed or not, I don't know.
I think that we may just have to accept the fact that the logistics aren't ideal. You know, like it is one of those things where you're not, you can't jump on a bus. It's it is traveling to another country. Even though we consider them maybe perhaps over in this part of the world to be conveniently positioned next to each other.
Of course, obviously the DPA and Z, haven't they? So they now will be playing over there because obviously looking at it, Ben Robb was obviously there and Johnny Tartar was there at the, last weekend in Wellington. Just looking at it now, and Caden Milne and Hopai Pua as well.
I'm just asking a question now, and we might get an answer by the end of the show.
It is their morning over there, isn't it? Should be awake. Get some work done.
Yeah, come on.
While we're at it, speaking of tickets, by the way, I don't think I've ever seen two things today. One, I have never seen the fact that the PDC have either intentionally or not forgotten to tell people that the match play tickets went on sale for annual subscribers today.
Don't need
to. Two, more to the point, I've never seen a happier set of X or Facebook pages or Instagram pages than what I've seen today. People are actually saying that the system was a success, which you don't see very often for any sort of tickets. We got told, didn't we, that there was only standing room only. This is 1 o'clock. There was only at 1 o'clock that tickets to the tables had already sold out for the entirety of the event, and the weekend's semi-finals and finals were already sold out completely, weren't they?
They're all by 1 o'clock. All tables are gone.
Madness
and balcony.
So
balcony as well.
Is there a point there? Like
no,
I know, but
don't even think about it.
But I love it. I love it. You ask me now, like, so if someone says to me, and what are you looking forward? What are you most looking forward to in darts this year? I will say two things. Like, there are two things that I deeply like, the most exciting things in the year. One, UK Open as a punter, right? UK Open as a punter. Number two, match play, like with Phil for the week. Like, they are the two things that I absolutely love that venue. I love it. But so here's the thing, right? When I live in the north, like where I live in the northeast, and darts is growing, and people are becoming more and more, or the desire is going up and up for people to go and watch darts and go and see it. And I literally say to people, they say to me, first of all, can you get me any tickets? I know I can't get any tickets. It's absurd. Like, tickets are a joke. But they all think that the best thing for them to do now they've got into darts is to go to Alexandra Palace. And I continually say, don't be ridiculous. You live in the northeast of England. Don't travel to London. Horrible. It's winter. It's rainy. It's crap. Don't do that. If you want to go to darts,
and don't walk up that fucking hill.
No. If you live in the north of England and you want to go and experience darts, what you want to do is in the summer go to the Winter Gardens in Blackpool. The problem is none of those people can have and will get that opportunity. So I give them this recommendation and say that's where you need to go, and they all go, "Oh, they didn't even go on sale, did they?" And I go, "Oh yeah." Like, at what point is there a point at which we say this is too big now? This sport, this event, this thing, and I love it, but you got to move with the times.
No, but that can't be that tournament. There's so much uniqueness around that tournament. There's so much uniqueness.
Nobody can see it, Jarlath. Nobody can see it.
They can. That's why the tickets were gone. But you can still fit 3,000 in there. You can still fit 2,500 to 3,000 even with the standing room. But the fact is, there is no other place on the PDC calendar that sells standing room tickets. There is no other place on the calendar that offers the original. That is still the original venue. It is still the only original venue on the calendar. And I know you know this.
The freedom as well. Like Phil knows, Phil knows that when we're in there for the week, I end up covering like every single inch of that building, because there'll be a game where I'll be behind the board, and then the next game I will quite literally be like seven, not the bits that everyone else gets. I'll be in a rafter, 7 for next to a large spotlight, like filming a walk on or something. Like every inch of that building, I find fascinating and it's interesting and it's cool. But I just think there are thousands of people every year frustrated and disappointed.
Exhibit A. Look how the Grand Slam suffers as it moves to the Civic. Aldersey Leisure Village is hideous. Hideous. And I don't say that lightly. It is hideous. If you move that, but I'm being deadly serious when I say this, and I don't say this lightly. If you move the match play from the Winter Gardens, it just becomes another tournament. It does not become the second biggest tournament on the calendar. There is something special about going, because as we all know, Blackpool's a shithole. Let's have it right. But there's something very special about making the pilgrimage up there every single year. There's just something very, very special.
Oh yeah.
And like the best part is actually going to go and stay in Lytham and then drive in. That's the best part of it.
I think it's a real conundrum, because do I want it to leave? No, because I agree. It is the original venue. The venue offers so much. But at some point, there is going to be a commercial decision that has to be made. I'm not saying they make it and take it away, but there has to be a number.
But then what do you do then, Phil? Do you then just go to a place that can fill 5,000 and everyone goes, oh, great, yeah. But it's not the Winter Gardens. It's not the Winter Gardens.
What is, like, being realistic, I've got a couple in my head, but what do you think is a logic? If they said, look, commercially we can't do this anymore. We can't. Or if they just, it's not about can't doing it. It's commercially we could sell double the amount of tickets.
Yeah. Well, you could though. You could.
We could sell
that's
double the
why
amount
they're
of
moving
tickets.
into the Great Hall. That's
So
why
we
they're moving
need
into the Great Hall.
So we need to do so. We have a commercial duty to our, shareholders and business, to do this. Where would you think?
Well, I know where you would, but then again, you wouldn't be able to do it because it's in London and we can't have another one. I know exactly where you'd do it because it would give the heritage and history, as in you, Dan.
Where?
Oh, the Albert Hall. Obviously.
No, I know, but I know. So for me, sorry, and I'll put my parameters, my personal ones. Right, this tournament, this belongs to the north, And that's why,
Yeah.
like, and that is so me, and other people might say, like, yeah, no, great, and I get, you know, you can do it here, do it there, but me personally, like, it belongs to the North. I think for me, the only place that I could think, right, because I don't want it in a fucking tin shed. Like, I don't want it in a tin shed. I think the only place that I've been able to come up with where I do think it ticks all the boxes is Manchester Central.
But then it's shit because you're not near the seaside.
What was the GMX? No, I know you're not, but it's got that, like, it's an old train station, isn't it? So it sort of fulfills all of that, like, old pretty building. You know, it ticks all that vibe, big iron arches, and, you know, it's a, like, cathedral of industry. It's very, very historic.
The irony of this all, the irony is not lost on me, by the way, because I've been saying for a while that they're going to have to move from the Crucible because they can only get 1K in, and I'm one of the people that go sod it, do it.
Yeah,
but I just don't. The thing is that the match play as a whole, anyway, is getting shafted by the Premier League by a certain television network, telling them that it's the second biggest tournament on the calendar. Don't even. Here it is, Philip. There you go. Don't nibble. Right. But that is the point. Like, the Premier League is being turned into this, right? So if you then take
3, 2, 1.
Hi, Jolliffe. Thanks for being in the Barney Army.
Tuesday. Anyway, right. Going back to my original point, right? If you take away the Winter Gardens from the match play, it just becomes another tournament. It's tournaments. It happens in the summer. Great.
No, I do agree with that point. I wholeheartedly do. But there has to be a commercial breaking point. And I don't know where that is, but there has to be a commercial breaking point at some point.
I agree. But do you know what? I think that, having spoken to a couple of people at the PDC about this exact issue, and Matt has said this as well on our channel before, they are so reluctant to take it away.
And rightfully so. I 100% agree with that, because it does just become another tournament. But we've sat here for the last 2 years and said you can't have the World Championships continue to be at Ali Pali in that room when people can't buy tickets. And it's that point now where tickets are not going to go on general sale for the match play.
Because Rob
to do.
Yeah. Sorry, mate, go on.
So one of the things, and this is why, you know, like, from a purely commercial perspective, like, we've seen it happen to football teams, we've seen it happen to lots of other sporting ventures where you want to grow, you know, they want to continue to grow the sport of darts, and it's growing at a rapid rate, faster than ever before. We are seeing more casual fans than ever that want to, you know, engage with the sport, watch it, but they really, really want to watch it in person. They want to get there and be there. And yes, it's all very well saying, well, we tour this Premier League around the country once a year, and you can go, you know, but I do think that if you are really going to grow this sport, one of the key things, you know, if somebody said to me, you know, you're in the think tank for how do we grow this sport and what is the full end-to-end vision of how we get from here to there, one of the things that's going to be on my whiteboard all the time is how do we create more opportunities for people to see darts live? Because we know we've done it 1,000 times. It's lost on Phil now. He can't get excited about it. He's like broken, and he can't get excited to see live darts anymore.
It's impossible.
It's gone. But you and I still have a
sorry.
That.
I like the double. I like the double app there. Good. Like it.
But you and I still have a little bit of that in us, don't we? Like, we still have a bit of the romance of being in a room where darts is being played, and it sort of gives us the feels a bit, and you can like, oh, this is like that. Oh, I love this. This is great. And
I mean, like for example,
you
are the
need
pair
that
of us?
to happen to more people. You've got to get them
Sorry.
there. You've got to get them in the room.
It's like Rob makes a really good point here, where he says, "Why do we not have this convo about other TV competitions that sell out?" And I do think he's right on that front, but we do. But I think the biggest one, honestly, match play is not the biggest issue. But also, the reason why we do it for the match play is because it's the second biggest tournament on the calendar.
Yeah.
Certainly, second biggest ranked tournament on the calendar. But I tell you, the one that we have the problems with, the biggest one, really, are the two at Minehead, especially one. The Players' Championship, you could potentially get one that goes on general sale. UK Open, you have not got a hope in hell's chance in the next year, because all the accommodation goes every single time. Every single time.
Yeah, we're going to miss the first session of darts trying to rebook for next year.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No, you're not, because if you get in there early on the Thursday, it'll be open.
Oh, we're going early this year, aren't we? Oh.
Yes, my friend. So you are going to be going to that.
Yeah, actually, what then?
That's the first thing that is the first thing you were doing.
Oh, Charles, that means I'm in charge of the rebooking. You know what that means, don't you?
We're going shallow.
That means I'm ticking every upgrade. Like that's the Dan Simpson. Like the Dan
We're
Simpson.
getting shallow next year, boys. Here we go.
You know, the equivalent of the bloke in the steakhouse that says, "Would you like to add 4 prawns to your steak?" And me saying, "Have you got a lobster?"
But speaking of more, by the way, sorry, Baz, I was just going to say, speaking of more venue news, we teased it earlier. John Rawley's going to be after
the news today on Talk Sport that next year, because of the massive demand for tickets, and look, fair play, they sold 6,000 tickets in the pre-sale for the US Darts Masters this year, which is absolutely sensational, that we could be looking at Main Hall MSG next year.
Wow.
Wowzers. That is a little bit bonkers.
I cannot. To people who don't understand this, a lot of people do, but I don't. I genuinely do not think people quite understand the significance of this. Madison Square Garden is the world's most famous arena. It is the Mecca. It is the most famous arena in the world. There is a seating range of about 20,000 in there. It is the most special place. It is the most important place for anybody to. If you headline MSG, your life's complete. And I think that if they manage to get it into Madison Square Garden, I think Barry will just go. It would just be like, I don't think he could ever believe it. I don't think he ever would.
It's mad. It's even been spoken about. It's mad.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, the sort of the opportunity for historically linked produced pieces is so vast, because in terms of, you know, if you are looking for a historic, just very well, I was going to say a sporting venue, like, because you've got like Ali against Fraser, and you've got that, and you've got, if anyone ever leans into wrestling a bit, and you've got WrestleMania 1 and the other bit, like, but like, it's just, did you know, as these are right, like, did you know that John Lennon's final performance was that room?
Yeah.
Like John Lennon's final, like the last, there's so much history. It is quite literally, it's not a Mecca. Because let's be blunt, right? It's in a sort of old Art Nouveau style. You could say it's an attractive building, but I don't think it particularly is. I don't think it's a really nice.
It doesn't.
They spent a lot of money on it. It looks very.
Yeah, but it's not. But that's not what it's about. It's got nothing to do. It's about.
It used to be.
The story, the history.
But obviously the big thing is that now they don't have that ability. Because obviously it's been redone about 1,700 times now. To be fair, this is the 4th version, I think, of Madison Square Garden, and they've revamped it. And obviously, it could be getting knocked down anyway, because Penn Station are having a bit of a pop going. We need to revamp ourselves as well. So yeah, like it's huge.
We should be having, though, should we not, gentlemen? and somebody's mentioned it in the Big Johnny's mentioned it in the chat room. But if we're in Madison Square Garden, we should be getting that little short WrestleMania 10, the WrestleMania 10 style short walk on. Like, give me that, please. Can we have that? We know it's there. We know the facility's there. Give me WrestleMania 10 walk-ons, please. That's what we want.
Yep.
Yeah, look, it's just mind-blowing that Barry's just dropped that out of nowhere in true Bazza style.
And how many people
I bet JP was.
Oh no!
I bet JP was going for Sage.
There's been another fuck up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Look, just if it happens, oh my word, it will be incredible.
It'll be the biggest ever thing for darts ever. If they manage to get it into the main room at Madison Square Garden, it is single-handedly the biggest thing that has ever happened in this sport. Not even close. Not even close.
Oh, it's mad. Absolutely.
Does it then put into perspective? And if that does happen, do we then have to start or do the PDC have to then start thinking really carefully about the venues that they're using for a lot of their big events? Like when they're looking at stuff that they're doing, being blunt, in Wolverhampton and Milton Keynes and that, do we have to then start to think, hang on a minute, look, like how can you be going from the main room at Madison Square Garden and then also with
Aldersley Leisure Village? No, I agree.
Do you have to reflect on that a little bit, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing is, it's quite simple. Again, I know Ali Pali's been done for 5 years, but contracts can be ripped up. If Madison Square Garden sells out, Wembley Arena is on the cards for the World Championships. I don't care what anybody says. Has to be. You can't have a room at Madison Square Garden and not have a chance to go to Wembley Arena. It just can't happen. Simple as.
It would be mad. It would. Oh, could you imagine if it happens? I am down for it. I know that. The Dev Tour at the weekend, I'm not going to lie, I didn't see a lot of it. I'm just looking at the top of the order of merit, and it's very tour card heavy again, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw the results, and I was a bit sort of, right, okay, yeah, that happened. That's
But I tell you what though, Jack Drayton. I mean, I don't know much about this bloke. About
couple of good days.
Yeah,
second after a full weekend, not bad at all.
Yeah, he's done well.
Stuff.
He's done well.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave's mentioned that he's going to see us in the rebooking queue at the UK Open. Well, where you might also see us, Dave, and we'll give more information next week, is we are going to have a bit of a meetup, aren't we, Jarlath? We're gonna pick a date and a time and a place, and we're gonna tell everybody who wants to come and share in a pint with us. You might find a picture of wine being passed around. You never know. We are going to have a bit of a meetup down in Minehead. So make sure you're watching next week, and we'll finalize some detail.
Realistically, it will be in between either the Friday or the Saturday night session. It'll probably be the Friday night session.
Probably the Friday.
Meet up for an hour or and a half or so between sessions. Meet up in Hot Shots or in the Inn on the Green or something. We'll come and say hello and all the rest of it. We'll have an off-air meeting about that. Finally, before we go,
Bars might even pop along and sign some autographs.
No chance. He does not leave the press room. He can't go amongst the plebs. He can't go amongst the muggles, can he? He's not allowed to do that.
Do I need a tetanus jab?
Yeah, amongst the muggles. Yeah.
Before we do go, by the way, and there's a couple of people that have mentioned it in the chat room. A word on Wayne. That video was.
I wasn't going to bring it up because it was such a tough watch.
Yeah,
and I don't like the way it's been documented, shall we say, by certain media.
Can I say it better than that? Because I can. It's a fucking disgrace that people have decided to take that and try and earn some money off it. It's a fucking disgrace, and it should be called out. And people around him in the game should be calling out that utter fucking bullshit.
I've seen at least 4 or 5 outlets. I'm not going to call them darts outlets. I'm just going to call them outlets that have taken it. I'm just like, this isn't right.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, do you know what's difficult, right? Because I've had a rant a few times about people who do things like this, and the difficulty with making comments about, oh, you know, like, how do you sleep? You know, how do you sleep at night doing that, and exploiting people who feel like this, who are in these situations, so that you can earn a few quid off clicks. The difficulty with pointing that out is they simply do not give a shit, because they do not care enough. They are not connected to, you know, proper humans in a way with any compassion whatsoever to respect somebody who is going through anything. It's a fucking disgrace, and they should be called out on exactly what it is. And I look forward to opportunities to being able to do so. When I see some of these people, I'm happy. Like, I think it's an absolute fucking disgrace. And anybody that has produced a story, like, again, like everything, like, there is an open invitation to the live lounge. Like, you are welcome to come and defend why you think that is a fucking acceptable thing to do. You are welcome to come on the live lounge, and we'll all take turns calling you a cunt.
Jesus Christ! On that bombshell.
Oh, what a way to end the show! That is, everyone. This will be available as an audio only.
Not that last bit won't be. Not that last bit won't be.
So all good podcast providers.
Sorry about that.
We will be live from 1 o'clock tomorrow for the Pro Tour Players Championship 5 and 6 get underway. So if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button so you know when we go live. And it's been a pleasure talking to you all for the last 2 hours. Thank you very much to Lou Dog, great guest. Next week's guest, stay tuned. We will drop that during the week at some point. But myself, Phil Bars, Dan Simpson, and Jonathan, wishing you all a great rest of the Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow.